verse 27, one I'm sure you probably already know. Genesis 1:27 reads as follows. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. Jump into Luke chapter 8, verse 48. I hope in this particular verse here in 48 you can hear the passion and love. Luke 8, chapter verse 48. Reads as follows. And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace. May the Lord add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his holy and precious word. On this precious Sunday, the focus is on domestic violence, a very passionate subject, a very heart-wrenching subject. Amen. I come to find out that it is a problem internationally. It is a problem nationally. It's a problem in our state. It's a problem in Prince George's County. It's a problem in Montgomery County, Howard, and all the other counties. It is a problem in Fort Foot Baptist Church. And I stop by to tell you in love, humbly speaker, in this affluent community, it's a problem in Montgomery County. Bear with me for just a few moments. I want to share with you quickly from the subject. Safe in God's hands. Safe in God's hands. Thank God for a church like People's Community Church, who takes the time to be a kingdom-focused church, who has a pastor who has intellectual endowments but is not afraid to address the difficult social issues of the day. Some preachers will daze, glaze, and amaze you with their hermeneutical applications and their homiletical arrangements and their systematic theology and their pneumatology and all of that, but they won't touch some things that touch and break our hearts. They skirt around it with some theological dissertation, leaving you hurting and in pain, thinking that God no longer holds you as sheep in the palm of his hand. Do I have a witness? But I stop by to tell you, every child of God, abused or not, are safe in the hands of God. So God created. Dr. Hayward would tell you that's the Hebrew word bara. It means to form and fashion something out of nothing. A good bricklayer can build a church. A good carpenter can build a roof and beams, but only God can create. It's called the fiat, F-I-A-T. He spoke and worlds leaped into existence. He spoke and used the dust and dirt to create man and woman in his own image, after his likeness. Male and female created he them. Where are you going? I'm going somewhere in a minute. So when normally it's in 90% of the cases, it is the woman that is the victim of domestic violence. Matter of fact, the statistics tell us, the ugly statistics tell us that you are more likely to be attacked by a husband, a fiance, a boyfriend, a player, than you ought to be hit by a terrorist. Are you praying with me? Every 15 seconds in America, a woman or girl is violated. That comes to 4 per minute, 240 per hour, about 17,000 a month, about 2 million per year that get reported. Mind you, the facts tell us that most domestic violence victims do not report it until about the 10th occurrence. you know some wealthy folk like yourself who reside in Prince George's and Montgomery and Howard counties and surrounding vicinities in the nation's capital. So you have status on your job. You have status in your church. Some of you have gone from having no gate to live now in gated communities where you just can't roll up and talk about, I'm coming to see Reverend Robinson. You got to check in at the gate with a security guard and give you a code. 316 in John is one code. So you don't want folk to know that you, of all people who have more degrees than a thermometer, who have been blessed to matriculate from poorhouse to Morehouse and are doing quite well, wearing St. John's clothes and gaiters and Crocs on your feet, you would be not telling the truth if you said, silver and gold have I none, because most of you got a little silver and a little gold. So the point is that we have worked long and hard to get the little bit of status that we have, and God knows we don't want anybody to know that domestic violence is going on in our house. We got the 2-car garage. We got 2 reasons we see for higher learning. Mercedes-Benz and Lexus serve the Lord. So when a domestic violence happens in our house, we sweep the dirt under the rug. But the problem is, my friends, this morning, we got so much dirt under the rug now, it's starting to look like Kilimanjaro in Kenya. It's starting to look like Mount Everest. Over 2 million get reported. 90% of the victims are women and daughters. So the point of Genesis 1:27, domestically violent speaking, is that when a man violates a woman, he's not only violating his spouse, his fiance, or his girlfriend, but he's in fact violating the very image of God. So God would be justified when he issues a scathing judgment. Do you not know, my brothers? When a man raises his arm to strike a woman of God, God could freeze and paralyze his hand right in that position. Some of y'all looking at me funny. Say, well, Reverend, you must understand that we are of affluence and we are in the upper echelon, and this kind of ungodly, uncivilized behavior only happens in those lower socioeconomic levels. No one myth let me dispel. Domestic violence is an equal opportunity employer. It strikes the educated as well as the unlearned. Just sometimes rich folk and learned folk have better lawyers who lie better, litigate better, who can cover it up. Point number 1, I got to move quickly. You got to get to communion. One best lady said, Reverend, we're glad to have you. Just don't preach too long. I just sound like 4th foot. Point number 1, what can a church do? Well, you have already started and continue like you did on yesterday. You are helping folk to know that it's all right, that it's godly, that it's helpful to break the silence by having conferences and symposium like you did already. Many churches, large and small, African American, other ethnic groups, will not even touch this delicate area, but somebody needs to touch it where it hurts. What good is it talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Sarah, and Jacob if you won't address my hurt? Prophecy's all right, but what about my pain? Millions of sisters are suffering under domestic violence abuse. Point number 1, the church, we've got to sound the alarm. If I sound so hyper so early in the morning, it's because I am on purpose, because I've got to, Haywood has to, and all of us have to sound the alarm.